on the words to say. Gotta set the record straight, I can't pretend that I'm alright. I get into the night.
Okay, we're back. Welcome. We just got done with round one. And not a real big shocker. Best did win, although Hero did take one game from him.
You know what? I thought those were really good games. That series was actually pretty entertaining to watch. It wasn't complete one-sided rape. It was actually, he put up a fight, and it was actually really a lot of fun, to cast. And our next set is sOo versus 4GG, otherwise known as Never.
Never is a very strong Terran player. He did win the MSL not long ago.
Yes.
Against Jaedong, actually, 3-0ing him. He's known for his timing attacks. Really good timing attack.
Hence his, his nickname in Korea.
Yeah. What is it?
Time Attacker.
Time Attacker. Very creative nickname for a guy who is very good at timing attacks. So I think sOo's going to have to watch out for that. Now, in Terran versus Protoss, this is a matchup where it's especially based off timing attacks coming from the Terran. You have to know the exact right moment to move out, and you have to move in there with surgical precision. So it should be pretty exciting to see if sOo can take that on. Now, sOo is certainly not a bad player. He managed to get this far, and he could take out Never in an upset. This is the tournament, Season 2 here, where we've seen more upsets than I think we've seen in almost any Korean tournament ever.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm not even kidding.
And, all right, sOo, he's been around since 2004. He's been around for quite some time. He was actually the very first Courage match winner. Wait, the winner of the very first Courage match. That's better. That's easier to say.
That rolls off.
All right, so when he first debuted, he was awesome. You know what? Actually, next game, I'm going to ask them for a list of this. Like, I know what it means, but it's really hard to translate, so I'd rather just, go back there and talk it over with the people.
No, totally. This graphic is new to me as well. I didn't know we were going to be doing
brand new, yeah. So let's see. In the Pro League, he's 1-1. He lost to Iris, or Berserker, but he beat up Magic. He's more known as a 2v2 player. However, now that we've gotten rid of 2v2s, he's not doing very well in the individual leagues. His team feels that he's good enough. Like, he's pretty, the next Protoss for STX kind of thing. Yeah. However, he is in Cal or Godzilla's shadow right now, so it's kind of hard for him. His last 10 games, he's 4-6. His last 10 versus Terran is also 4-6. Then we have 4GG, otherwise known as Never V, right? Something like that.
He's getting those Gosu lips ready. I think this is a guy who's really revolutionizing Terran. He's one of these people that really you can learn a lot from if you're new to StarCraft and you want to learn build orders. This is somebody who's really good at copy. He doesn't play too crazy either. I mean, he's pretty standard. And I think he has a very strong grasp of the game overall. Well,
I mean, it's funny you said standard because he's actually known as, the quote-unquote league breaker. Yeah. Meaning that he's so boring to watch that people stop watching the game. They're like, he's a good player, but he's not very entertaining. He's not very good looking. He doesn't have any special plays.
Ouch. Brutal.
I'm repeating what I've read online. I'm repeating what people have been telling me. But they're like, he's just one of those people. He's just kind of boring. He's the league breaker.
He's definitely a standard player, but I mean, certainly he is educational to watch. And I think it's going to be tough for sOo in this upcoming game. Now, sOo's certainly an underdog here. Doesn't mean he can't pull off a win. Again,
Upset Central.
Yeah, we've seen so many upsets here that it doesn't mean that we can't see more. In fact, I always want to see more upsets. It makes the tournament that much more exciting.
It is very exciting. Lately, he's been losing to Protoss quite a bit. He's 4-6. And he got kicked out of the MSL and OSL to, I don't remember. But, I mean, they're both Protoss players. I think Bisou being one of them. His last 10 is 7-3, 7 wins, 3 losses. However, versus Protoss, he's at 6 losses right now. So we'll see how things go for him. People are saying he used to be really weak to Terran, but now maybe while he was working on his Terran play, he's starting to get weak to Protoss. So
yeah, he doesn't seem to be one of these guys who can be well-rounded all the time. So that's something to keep in mind. Some people, they can really just focus on one matchup at a time, which is actually great for stuff like the Star League. If you know who your opponent's going to be, you can just really, really buckle down on that matchup on those maps and master it. But he doesn't seem to be one of these players like Nada, who's just really smooth and clean overall.
Yeah, definitely. He is ranked 5 for this month, according to Kespa, however. So hopefully we'll be able to see some good games. And again, the maps are Destination, near Requiem, and Medusa for today.
They should be pretty good. Now, Destination, we may see proxying from either race here. We've seen, at least in my experience on iCup, I've actually seen a lot of that, and I've found it even to be quite effective doing it as Protoss. So who knows? We might see some of that. Again, we want to watch those back sides of the first expansions you get. We can see storm drops, tank drops there. Could be very powerful. So it should be a pretty interesting game. So I think any second now, I think we're going to get this started.
We should be starting, I think.
We'll find out.
Kind of hard to read the...
Well, this is a good opportunity for us to thank our sponsors. Thank you, everybody at Intel. Without you guys, this would not be possible. And to thank all of you at home, really. We do appreciate people who tune in and watch. If nobody's tuning in and watching this stuff, we wouldn't be able to do it.
You know what, though? And I have to say, thanks to the foreign community, because there's a huge number of Koreans who watch this.
Yes.
But, I mean, we're mainly trying to cater for you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. I know it's really late for some. I know some are having breakfast and having a good time watching this in the morning. But, we do appreciate you guys tuning in and definitely supporting us.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate it. Well, we're still waiting for the players to get ready. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Actually, no, I think we're going to start right now.
.com is now online.
All right, here we go. Game 1. We have our Protoss player, sOo, on the top left, and we have our Terran, Never, on the bottom right. And with that, I am going to leave my seat for a bit to go interview our winner from the last match.
All right, I will be casting solo for the time being. There's a shot of sOo. There's a shot of 4GG's chest. Now a shot of 4GG overall, of course, also known as Never. I was at the MSL actually watching this guy play. Terrific Terran player. Again, if you're one of these guys, and I know since the Gump TV Classic has started, we've had a lot of people get on iCup and try to figure out how to play StarCraft themselves. This is a really good guy to copy if you're a Terran player. Okay, Terran actually, first of all, let me say that, as you probably noticed, Terran scraped by the top of his main. He wanted to check to see if his opponent set a probe in there to build a pylon gateways inside the main. That's a pretty common. I hate saying cheese tactic because there's nothing really cheesy about it. It's just a very aggressive opener. But a lot of Protoss players will build 2 gateways in your main. And then that forces you to take SCVs off and attack the gateways. But the result is you're actually getting more behind by taking the SCVs off and attacking the gateway. Very difficult to deal with. So he takes his first precaution and tries to deal with that. Now from here, it looks like both guys are going to play pretty standard, actually. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that at all. I think this series could be pretty entertaining, especially if we go into the late game. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Note the placement of the Protoss' cybernetic score behind the minerals like that. That actually clogs up one of those holes in the minerals, and the good thing about that is that it stops the probes from ever going to the back of the mineral patches to mine, which you occasionally see. You never want to have your workers going to the opposite side of the mineral patches, which sometimes happens when it's saturated. You just end up gathering money a little bit slower. And, of course, that second pylon is down there for a spotter to see if a dropship comes in a few seconds earlier. You can see Terran was very cautious of any proxying whatsoever. Well, the first zealot's going to be moving out here. Dragoon range is being upgraded. Again, standard game so far. Nothing too unusual. At times we would see more Marines here for the Terran, so that's probably the only thing that's deviating from the norm. Unfortunately, Terran's going to lose that scouting SCV pretty early, it looks like. Actually, maybe not. Oh, nice. Leave it up to the probe to finish the job off. Oh, look out! Those girls are still hiding their faces. They don't know we've taken the camera off them a long time ago. Okay, fast Robo Bay. This, again, very typical. These guys are very comfortable playing normal games. So we're going to see pretty quick observers here. There is the option for Reaver. Really great control here by sOo, actually. And barely takes out the SCV. Nice hit there. Only losing shields, too, so that was a win there. We do see the probe sneaking down here. He may leave the probe here and then move his army out. And we're going to see fast Nexus here, I would presume. Uh-oh. Now Terran has to decide if he wants to attack or if he wants to sit back. And with Dragoon range done, it could be pretty dangerous if the Terran doesn't micro perfectly. Actually, for both people, it's pretty dangerous. Either one of these guys can screw up and lose it if they're not careful. There's the Panda Bear guy. Well, we got a glimpse of him. Ah, brilliant. And he's going to sneak the probe in there when he's moving out. Nice snipe there on the mine. He gets another great snipe there. Really softening up that vulture. He wants to see if his opponent's going to go for the 2 factory. He did not. He did go for the fast expansion. Protoss knows exactly what's going on. sOo is playing brilliantly right now. And sOo should be able to hold off this push with ease. Well, Protoss is temporarily contained, although I do believe the Observer is going to be out pretty soon here. I'm surprised the Observer is not already out, actually. Wow, sOo has really good timing. sOo's really impressing me so far. I have to admit, sOo is one of these players that we don't generally know a whole lot about in comparison to somebody like Never, but he's really impressing us. Looks like Terran's going to be preparing for a possible Reaver drop. Getting more upgrades here right away. That's probably Siege mode in there. And Terran will probably transfer SCVs at this very moment. And here comes the Observer. Protoss needs to clean up the mines outside of his base. That Vulture, of course, hidden over there so that if the Protoss leaves, he can rush one Vulture in and try to take out probes. If you're a Protoss player, you are terrified of Vultures when they get into your main. You can lose all of your probes so quickly. It is pretty much the fastest way to lose workers, that and getting storm dropped. Reavers can deal a lot of damage, but you can usually pull out before they take out all of your workers. Wow, take a look at that. He already, well, it looks like the pylon actually helped out there. He might have already seen that Vulture there. Okay, now here comes the next phase of the game. Now, this used to be pretty unorthodox for Protoss. It was pretty unusual to Reaver drop at this phase of the game, but basically these really good players figured out that a lot of Terrans, if they don't see any harassment early on, are likely to skip making a lot of turrets in their main, which means they're vulnerable to Reaver drops at this funny phase of the game, which they wouldn't normally be vulnerable to. But now it's pretty standard. I actually really recommend doing the Reaver drop in a phase like this, as long as your control is good. However, take a look at that. Terran does seem to be pretty prepared. By the way, hello, Susie. Welcome back.
I'm back.
You're back. How did the interview go?
Oh, he's a great interviewer. You know how there's some...
Oh, God. Hold on. Sorry, I should have asked that question at that moment. And he looks like he is going to get out. Nice. Gets the tank. So how'd that interview go? Pretty good?
That was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good? All
yeah.
right. Excellent. Well, it does not look like the Reaver harassment's going to be very effective. That Reaver could still come in handy in holding off the push in combination with Dragoons. One thing I've been trying to figure out myself is what is the ideal timing attack here for Terran? Because those bridges in the middle make it pretty hard for either race to get across if somebody's controlling the other side. Which makes the person who's defending in pretty good shape.
I overheard some of the... actually, I heard Garimto tell me this, that this map was... Between a Protoss versus Terran, it's more Protoss-friendly. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The bridges here really allow Protoss to continue to defend. Protoss are always happy to just defend and mass up. Because, it's... Hold that thought once again. Looks like we might have a Reaver drop. Nope. That was a terrible life for that Zealot. Did not even bother to pick him up. Because Protoss can continue to defend and either get Arbiters or Carriers. I don't think Carriers would be awful on this map, although it seems like it should be an Arbiter map. And pretty much it's tough. Terran cannot screw up the first push. And while that's a general rule in StarCraft, it's especially true on a map like this. And I think Terran might be pushing now. We see the tanks on sieging. Now, Protoss' first goal is to force Terran to siege an extra time here on the bridge. Then Protoss retreats and goes to the second set of bridges. Tries to force Terran to siege up again over there. So here comes the first step. Siege. And nice Zealot bombing. The Reaver! Oh! He did lose. Unfortunately, the shuttle and the Reaver. However, the tanks have been dealt a lot of damage. Terran needs to decide if he wants to repair or if he wants to push, but he can't do both. Zealot legs are not done yet. What the hell's up with that? Again, another tank. No! That Dragoon missed! I can't believe it. The Dragoon misses.
Oh, legs are done now.
Okay, legs are done. And I think, this could be disastrous. sOo is looking fantastic. Nice here by sOo. sOo's looking really damn good. Oh, this sucks for Terran. Now Terran can't even get outside of his base. That actually might have just sealed the deal. I think sOo might win this now. sOo knows that, too. This is just one of these positions Terran doesn't want to be in. Terran lost too many tanks. And sOo's attack timing was just brilliant. The timing push might have worked here for Never, but unfortunately, he never got to actually commence that push. Did that Zealot just punch a mine? Did I just see that?
Yes.
The mine just came out, he punches it. I would never punch a spider mine. I would be terrified. All right, here we go again. Oh, this is a total.
Ouch.
This is horrible. This is horrible. Terran can't get outside of his base, and he's losing more and more units here. Protoss sends the rest of his army down here. All he has to do is stop Terran from ever getting outside of these bridges, and Terran can never expand. Maybe to the bottom left region, but in reality, those are not the ideal places to expand.
More and more Zealots coming down here.
Okay, now he may be overextending himself. Nope, maybe not. There's some more Zealots over here. And this, gosh, I almost feel like 4GG should just leave now. There's no way he can win. In fact, he may even get run over here. I can't believe my eyes. 4GG is going to lose like this. Units are just raining down here. This is not what we expected to see here at all.
Not what I expected to come back to.
Yeah. He can't even get outside of his base. Look at all those gates. Pro production has been cut. All he's doing is just sending an army down here over and over and over, just raining it with Protoss units. Brilliant play here by sOo, though. And now he's going to be teching to Arbiters. Now, this is really problematic, first of all, because Terran does not have another expansion, but also because Terran doesn't seem to have science vessels out either, which means he won't be able to EMP, which means one stasis should be able to, really cripple the Terran army to the point where the moment that Terran actually gets any presence on the map, it's lost once again. We don't see a Stargate in there yet. Wait, the Panda Bear guy died?
You didn't see that?
I didn't see. Did he just die?
They passed by and there was his carcass, and I didn't want to mention it. His carcass was there?
I just missed it. He's died again? Oh my god. Did you just whisper that in my ear? I didn't even know if it was a joke or not.
I'm sorry, but the Panda Bear's dead.
How does this keep happening? Those things are going to be extinct soon. Where is PETA? Seriously. All right. Terran finally did get outside of his base in kind of an abrupt moment. And you can see sOo's trying to figure out the ideal position here to attack here. Actually, this could be a huge blunder. This angle could be disastrous. Actually, more Zealots, though, raining down here. A lot of vultures, though, taking out the rest of those Zealots.
Oh, Zealots coming in from all over the place.
Zealots coming in from behind, actually. Great angles here from sOo. A few tanks here, though, may be able to hold off the rest of these Dragoons. It looks like that will be the case. No, actually, great angles here. But, in fact, it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, for sOo. sOo has finally driven 4GG back again. The expansion at the bottom right here, very vulnerable. sOo feeling fantastic. Never, also known as 4GG, not feeling that is the case here. That expansion has not even been landed yet. sOo may be overextending himself here a little bit. Not even any SCVs there. +1 attack here. The main's been mined out. The expansion's actually looking pretty rich with minerals. Well, this is going to be a very uphill battle for Never. If Never pulls this off, we got to give him props, guys, because this is going to be an almost impossible position. Protoss should have the deal sealed, but this is Never, after all, the guy who won the MSL. All right, we do see a shuttle coming up here. Maybe a Reaver, maybe a Storm Drop. The Arbiter is coming in here from IR right now. There's one already.
There's one.
Here comes the harassment, the Storm Drop. Wow, that actually did not kill as many units as it should have. That was kind of weird. He's got to be careful. He really wants to get one more Storm Drop off here. You can see he doesn't quite have the location to do it in, though.
Yeah, those vultures are...
They're going to have none of it. Now, again, it's so critical that Terran really have good defense here. And you can see right now, it does appear as though Never has that good defense. However, take a look at the food count over here. 160 against 112.
112, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's not something easy to recover from. Terran's going to go in here for the push over here, sneaking over here to the slip at the far left. A lot of Protoss units still getting ready. There's that ugly Ragnarok. I think that's what it's called, Rancor. What is it? I think Ragnarok's a video game, actually. There's no way that this attack is going to be effective. He needs to get rid of the Nexus. I don't think it's going to happen in time, however. Here comes a Storm Drop. Wow, actually sniping both those Templar. Nice play there. Well, now Protoss is going to bleed down here through the bottom left. Well, that Bangalas almost got killed, too. Do we know who killed the Panda Bear guy? Who's not the...
I just saw the remnants of him.
It must have been a mine. That's my guess. And this means that 4GG is even more in trouble. Now the Bangalas could be in trouble. Actually, Protoss might be stuck over here. We're going to see a recall. Recall. Right over here. Bam. There it is. Oh, man. This is bad news. You can take out the factories here. There's Templars on the ramp for the storm. You can see 4GG's now trying to recover his main. Meanwhile, he has no presence on the map at all. Protoss has free reign over the map, moving units down here now. Doesn't look like he has enough energy to do the stasis at the ramp. It'd be smart to go for the depots. I assume that's what... No, actually the armory. I didn't even see the armory over there. And then follow that up with maybe some depot harassment. There's really no way, I think, for Terran to win now. I got to give 4GG props for getting outside of his base against sOo, but really, sOo's just... Oh, my God. Could it get any worse, really?
Oh, and there it goes.
That is it. He's done. Yeah, you can see Never just really feeling uncomfortable. Protoss expanding everywhere, he feels like. Terran's going to try to counter push. I don't know if this is going to work. He doesn't seem to have the vultures to help out here, to assist. The Bangalas is effectively moved away from the mines. Oh, God, another recall? This is so bad. I really do feel bad for Never right now. There's nothing he can do.
He's just kind of hanging on.
Yeah, he's kind of just like still in the game somehow, but he's not able to win at all. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to see if he can do anything in Game 2. Here's the rest of his tanks getting wiped out here. I'm surprised he hasn't typed in GG already. Maybe he'll do it now. There it is.
There's the GG.
Good game. Really, really great game back there. sOo just took out a Star League winner. Really impressive play.
I was going to say, when I got back from that interview, I was expecting, a GG pretty soon from sOo. But as the case, it's not.
Yeah. What a turnaround. sOo really taught us all something that on a map like this, you really want to mass up, cut probes early, and pound the Terran as he's trying to leave the double bridges in his main. If you can effectively do that, the Terran's so behind, you can even afford to make mistakes, although giving sOo credit, he didn't even do that.
I was going to ask you, though, do you think it's because sOo did a really good play, or do you think that it's because of the map?
Yeah, I think it is because of the map, but sOo played the map well.
Yeah, okay.
It is. A combination of both, I guess.
Yeah.
But really, really good play back there. Never, we're going to have to see if he can do better on Game 2. What, Game 2 is on Medusa, right? Or no?
No, Game 2 is Neo Requiem.
Neo Requiem, excuse me.
Yep.
Neo Requiem, again, also a map that Terran can lose to some silly stuff on early on, but it's certainly not impossible to win on. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
We'll see. Well, we know that Never is pretty a standard play kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah. So probably nothing too unusual. I don't know if we're going to start right away.
I think we are. Hold
These have been great games, though, so far. I've actually been learning a lot from them. I hope you guys have been as well.
Oh, I'm listening to the Koreans, and they're saying, they were really actually surprised because, Never is known as to be the time attacker.
Yeah.
And they were like, on a map like Destination, they expected him to be able to find those timings and really go at it, but he didn't. Like, he just couldn't.
He could not at all. Plus, the angle I think he came out with was bad. You got to be really careful with how many tanks you have on one bridge, because it's hard to cover with the vultures.
The vulture bikes.
The vulture
pedals.
bikes. Yeah. Can you believe when they get the speed upgrade, it's like Lance Armstrong is driving those things. They're so fast. Neo Requiem, really cool map. One of those maps a lot of people are willing to play you on iCup.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. I'm glad they brought it back, though. It makes for some very interesting games, especially Protoss vs. Protoss, actually. I love casting PvP on that map. Very cool.
All right, so I think we are starting the second one.
Get ready any second.